So in this video I'll show you how to set up the HIKVISION MinMoe reader in the respect of on-device settings, and also how to set the settings within the BreeCS software so it can obviously talk to that device. This is a follow-on video from the last video in the respect of me scanning in face on the webcam and having it transferred to the device. So this video is solely focusing on device options and menus and setup and configuration rather than scanning my face. So when you first power the device up from factory defaults, it's going to say activate device, and that simply means to enter a password for the admin account. So I'll do that now. So in this example we'll set test1234 as the password. Obviously I don't recommend you use that as a password, but this is just a demo video. And confirm, and click activate. It's now going to say application mode, indoor or others. In this example I'm indoors, so I will select indoors. Now if you push and hold the screen, it's now going to prompt you to enter that administrative password that I've just set, as in test1234, to access the menu system. Now we can see the on-screen menu, and I'll go through the bits and pieces that we need to set up in the respect of getting to work with BreeCS. So within the communications settings we can set our network IP address settings. By default DHCP is disabled, and it has a default IP address of 192.0.0.64. Obviously you would change that to match your network IP range, and obviously make sure that the last octet of the IP address is unique for this device on that network. The next option would be Wiegand. We would set that to enable, output, and 26-bit. And to confirm any settings within the menu system, the top right hand corner, the little tick, you push that to save those settings. So if I quickly go back into COM, I didn't change the network address settings in this video example, I just left them as default, but for the Wiegand I did change it. As we can see, I pressed the tick and the settings were saved. If I accidentally set something or I didn't want to save those settings, just pushing the back arrow will take me back to the previous screen without saving anything. The next option would be System, Face Pick, and then this is where we can set face with mask detection, and whether or not the user must wear a face mask, or whether they should be have a reminder of wearing a face mask. So this is the default settings, that face with mask detection is turned on. But if I also want to enforce the policy in the respect that the user must wear a face mask, then obviously I can tick that option. And again, clicking the tick in the top right hand corner will change and apply any settings that you've just changed. I'm just going to turn that off, and I'm going to press tick. The next one would be time. So this is where you can manually set the date and time of the system, but BreeCS via the set config options menu, which I'll show you shortly, will do this for you, so you don't have to do this on device. And the final option would be temperature, as in temp. So by default temperature detection is enabled on this device, and it is set to temperature measurement only. So out of the box, that basically means that it's not going to try and match your face in the respect of access control. It's simply going to detect that your face is present, take a measurement reading of your temperature, and then make sure that you're in the set thresholds that are set here, which you can change. If you are, it will just say you're good to go. If not, it will say over temperature. Obviously when you're using this with BreeCS in the respect of access control, you can leave temperature detection enabled, but just disable temperature measurement only. And then when you press tick to that, that basically now means that it will scan your face, it will check your temperature, but you also must be a valid user within the device in order for access to be granted. Okay, so now we'll move over to the BreeCS settings, and I'll show you how to set those. So once you've set up all of your HIKVISION MinMoe readers on the device itself via the settings that we just covered, then basically the only setup that remains would be go to Net2 and just make sure that it's set to 26-bit Wiegand rather than a Paxton reader, for example, and obviously change it to turnstile mode if you're using a turnstile. So the normal procedure that you normally always do with a BreeCS setup. And then basically when you go to add or edit a user within BreeCS, as you can see, there will be a section for scanning and deleting a face within the add edit user dialog. In this example, I've already enrolled myself as per a previous video, but I've just deleted the settings to show you how you would set it up initially. So the first time that you add or edit a user in the respect of the facial recognition, which I'll do in this example by clicking, right-clicking myself, HIKVISION, and add face template to selected user. Then the first time that the dialog appears, it's going to ask you for the system engineer password. Once you enter that, it will get saved to disk in an encrypted fashion, so you don't need to enter it every time. In addition, the first time that the software is open, it's going to ask you to add the IP addresses of all the devices that you've currently set up on your network. I believe the default IP was the 192.192.0.0.64, I think it was, but off camera I changed that to meet my network settings here. So in this example, I've set the device DHCP turned off, as in a static IP address of 192.168.0.24, but again that will be whatever suits your network requirements. The port will remain 8000. When we first powered the device up, it asks us to set a password for the administrator account. I believe you can change the user as well, but I left it as the default admin. And then the password was test1234, I think I set it to. Sorry, 24 hours has passed since the last video. And I've actually indeed changed that password. So let me enter the password now. And then when I click save, it's going to add that to the list, and anything you add in this list is going to basically say pending sync. So that meaning it's pending synchronization. It's making sure that the IP address you entered is a HIKVISION reader, it can connect to it, and it can set some settings. So I click save. It will connect to the device. In this example, it did say transfer only because I previously scanned my face and I just deleted the credential information in the respective IP addresses and the password. But normally it will just connect, run through the motions, and then just say, yeah, everything's good and we're ready to scan. As mentioned previously, in order to set the date and time, to make sure that all devices are set to the correct date and time in the respect of whatever the date and time is of the PC, click Settings and then click Set Config. That will connect to each of the devices that you've entered within the list and make sure that the date and time is correct across all devices. So that's it basically. So in the respect of scanning your face, you can either capture on a webcam or on the first device IP address that's in the list, but I've already covered that in the previous video, which I'll link below. Okay guys, thanks for watching.